And welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. Smasho here, coming at you from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. We've got some limited data today because of the SDO not sending data. So we've got a huge gap in the data. That's why you've got an empty space there at the beginning. And we'll be showing you some data from some different sources here that you may not be familiar with. So perhaps that will help you out in your stargazing endeavors. We do have some CMEs happening there. We'll let you know later in the video if they appear to be earthly directed or not. Quite a few CMEs that we've been saying for days. Likelihood is nearly 100%. So here is the solarmonitor.org website. So this is at the Cancelhoehe Observatory. And that's actually a little bit of old data there as well, but we've got multiple sunspot groups forming down here in the southwestern limb here. So the Kamala Harris filament has largely dissipated or ejected. The Schumer filament remains intact right in the earthly facing zone, and the AOC filament has split into three. The Eugene Bagashov filament is still rising over the northeastern limb. So here's one of the latest images there. That's the colorized magnetogram from SDO. That is actually a current image. Again, there's a bunch of data lost here, a bunch of data not available, I'll just say. So there's that, and here is the SDO intensitygram. See a little bit of sunspot growth there. Overall, some in this group here and some in these groups down here. This group up here is largely stable. And let's continue on to our volcano coverage. Quite a few volcanoes erupting here, including Abico, producing a 10 to 11,000 foot ash plume, flight level 110 over Abiku. Semeru, flight level 140 over Semeru. Carinci now showing back up on the list as it exploded. Produced about a 14,000 foot plume of volcanic ash. Please do not pole vault the caldera. Popocatépetl exploding in central Mexico. Flight level 210 over Popocatépetl. Fuego, 15,000 foot ash plume over Guatemala as Fuego explodes. Nevado del Ruiz exploding. Flight level 190 over Colombia from Nevado del Ruiz. Sangay exploding. Flight level 200 over Ecuador from Sangay. Flight level 150 over Ecuador from Revenador. So two exploding volcanoes there in the South American nation of Ecuador. Make it three. Cotopaxi is actually the standout there. It's producing a 25,000 foot ash plume. So a bunch of volcanic tremors there. Lots of volcanic activity in Ecuador. It's the volcano capital of the world at the moment. That column reached as high as 26,000 feet. Flight level 260. Sabancaya in Peru also exploding. Flight level 220, 22,000 foot ash plume. Villarrica volcanic ash not identifiable in satellite data. It could just be cloudy. Don't assume that it's not erupting. Next, looking at seismicity here, the earthquakes over the past 24 hours. There's the past 90 days. And before we get into the breakdown of the earthquakes, don't forget to check out our links below the video. If you want to improve your health, consider an association membership with the American Better Health Organization. An association with the intention of improving your health. It's not insurance coverage. It's just a nonprofit agency, which will afford you all sorts of discounts and other features like doctors by phone, virtual veterinarians, counselors by phone, health advocate solutions, and lots more. Also access to various types of group insurance like accident, critical illness, dental, vision, hospital indemnity coverage, even some life insurance options out there. Available only to SureMed members. Links below the video as well as on the homepage at smashomash.com. Don't forget to become a member of the Smash team. You can join at the bronze level if you're unwilling or unable to open your cobweb-encrusted wallets. Smashomash.com/Smash team is the site that we've replaced Patreon with. Although we still do have Patreon, and we'll be bringing our credit crawl back soon. Smashomash.com/Smash team. You can find our links there. And we do send out email alerts about things like tsunamis and incoming geomagnetic storms. Smashomash.com/Smash team. And also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. If you haven't created a Twitter account, why not create one? If you're not on Twitter, you're missing out on all kinds of things like being spammed by celebrities who you don't follow appearing on your news feed because they're very, very important and their ideas totally aren't stable, and AI can totally sense sarcasm. Yes, sarcasm. It's the key to breaking big tech's stranglehold on information itself. Yes, sarcasm. It's undetectable to, quote, artificial quote, intelligence, because it's about as smart as your smartphone. What a joke. Free speech not fixed by any stretch of the imagination. Join us anyway on Twitter. We'll be sharing all sorts of interesting tweets. Whether they're idiotic quotes or smart ones, that's up to you to decide. Twitter.com/Smashomash is the main social media that we use at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. So we've had lots of earthquakes here, no major ones. Keep in mind, any earthquake can be a foreshock, such as this 5.1 at Taiwan. Let's hope that's not a foreshock to a larger event. We also had a 5.0 in the Kuril Islands region there, south of Kamchatka. Indonesia had a 5.1. Tonga had a 5.0. Also Vanuatu. Largest quake of the past 24, I believe, was a 5.6. Something like that. 5.6 near Easter Island. Also Philippines had a 5.1. Kermadec Islands had a 5.1. That's north of New Zealand. Another 5.4 there. South of Kamchatka. 5.1 in the Kermadec Islands region. Again, no major quakes, but lots of quakes. And let's get back to space. So here's a ground-based solar magnetometer, part of the National Sunspot Observatory magnetogram data from El Teide, Spain. And that's what's going on in terms of magnetic fields. Let's zoom out so we can see the time and date stamps. Don't worry, folks. Even if it's cloudy where you're located, the sun is still shining. Even if it's nighttime, don't worry. The sun is still up there. And it's not going to kill you. All right, so the 10.7 centimeter radial flux now all the way down to 106 solar flux units. There is the 1-year graph of that. Make it 107. 107 is the F107 number. So the F10.7 centimeter radial flux now at 107 solar flux units. We've had some flat activity here on a monthly smoothed basis. Keep in mind, we are still years from solar maximum. Here's a space weather enthusiast dashboard. No geomagnetic storms forecasted here. No major space weather events forecasted by NOAA, at least. Here's the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. It's our Geospace Magnetosphere movie. We show it every day on the channel. Since the data is not accessible in archival format, we like to show 4 hours of it. We are seeing a subsiding coronal hole wind stream. We'll get to the info on that here momentarily. It was a pretty decent coronal hole high-speed stream. Anyway, that's the last 4 hours of magnetohydrodynamic pressure around planet Earth. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. This is magnetic flux density, nanotesla. And that'll show you the most likely places to see things like aurorae, pipeline, rail line, and electrical grid induction. It's our ground magnetic perturbations map, courtesy of the University of Michigan. Global geomagnetism currently at a 2. It's a KP2, the planetary K index, a measurement of global geomagnetism, as you can see here. A 2 is the geomagnetically calm condition. Let's take a look at the real-time solar wind, which again has been subsiding for the past about 18 hours. So here you've got solar wind speed coming down from over 600, about 628 kilometers per second, all the way down to where it is now, about 438 kilometers per second. Solar wind density about 7.3 protons per cubic centimeter. And there is a shift happening actually right now as we stream the video. We are indeed seeing a shift to the negative BZ right there. So that negative BZ shift, that could actually turn into a little higher global geomagnetism. We'll see what happens. The field is also increasing in strength. So, but only a little bit. So we'll see what's going on there. We'll monitor that throughout the day. As a little shift looks like it's just coming in at the moment. GOES magnetometers there over the past 3 days. We're seeing a tighter range. A little higher lows and lower highs over the past about 12 hours. You could even say over the past about 24 hours. And here's the 7-day to put that in context. You can see a little tighter range there happening in the past day. Next, looking at some more magnetic data. This is the top view ecliptic plane field plot. Earth lies in a North Pole current sheet shown there in green. Nothing to write home about there. Here is the line of sight field plot. Solar magnetogram showing up there, as well as the solar B field in blue, north solar polar field in green, south solar polar field in red. And let's move to coronal holes. So we've got North Pole oriented coronal holes here facing the Earth. Some of them are transequatorial. Let's take a look at the most recent imagery here from the GOES 16 SUVI. There is your 193 angstroms wavelength. The past about 2.5 hours. You can see lots of North Pole-oriented coronal holes. Except this one down here. This one appears to be a South Pole coronal hole. These are all north. This one down here is south. This one over here is actually south. And let's move to sunspots. So we do have some growth down here in the southwest, I believe. Also up here in sunspot 3152. It's all pretty minor. Again, the radial flux has continued to drop over the past couple of days. And here's the GOES 16 284 angstroms wavelength. We don't show it too often on the channel, but it's great at showing bright active regions. It also shows the extended corona. It's actually some pretty sweet imagery there. Perhaps we should use that more in the future. Let us know in the comments what you think about the GOES 16 SUVI 284 angstroms wavelength. And continuing on, here's the GOES proton flux over the past 3 days. No spikes in that. No major flares. In fact, the X-ray profile has continued to drop here. It's some solar inactivity basically going on. Let's take a look at some more wavelengths here from the GOES 16 SUVI. Here is the 131 angstroms wavelength for the past couple of hours. And how about 94 angstroms? Next, we'll check out a star chart. And by the way, Venus has now become an evening star, so you'll be able to observe Venus right after the sun sets as Venus chases the closest star across our sky. That's what's going on over our heads in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. If you want to make your own star chart, head to in-the-sky.org and click on charts up there at the top. Click all sky charts and you can put in your location to get your own star chart. And don't forget to visit our links. Once again, we've got links here to Hemp Lucid. So that's our latest affiliate/sponsor, Hemp Lucid. Fantastic products, including some functional mushroom gummies, whether you're attempting to enhance your sleep, decrease your stress, or increase your focus. Some brand new products there, the functional mushroom gummies available. Also lots of other CBD products, Delta 8 gummies, CBD tinctures. The most popular is the water-soluble CBD tincture. Less filling, tastes great. Shop, buy a solution, etc. And you can find discounts. You can also just head to hemplucid.com and shop on your own and enter the promo code SMASHOMASH10 to get a little bit of something on your checkout discounts. So visit our links or just use the promo code. They make great gifts. You can even find CBD Full Spectrum Lip Balm on the Hemp Lucid website. So check it out. Lots of information about Hemp Lucid available on their site. Visit our homepage also. Help us out with clicks at smashomash.com. And welcome to the Neo Renaissance as we plausibly explain things about the sun as opposed to promoting hysteria, nonsense, and complete disinformation. You won't notice any scams, as there is nothing that I'm fanatical about except perhaps the truth and facts. So help us out with clicks, visit our links, hit us up on social media, press like, subscribe, share, etc. And here's your solar system forecast. This is where things are currently, as Mercury and Venus are swinging around from the far side of the populated side of the solar system. This is where things are now. We've got a crescent waxing moon, and there's where things will be in 1 week. That'll be December 4th as we approach the winter solstice for the Northern Hemisphere. And let's take a look at some coronagraphs. Here are the coronagraphs from yesterday. And don't really see any Earth-directed CMEs there. That's the Stereo A coronagraph from George Mason University for yesterday. And let's check today. Only one frame today. Let's take a look at some more coronagraphs here. Stereo A from the Integrated Space Weather Analysis Center, as well as the SOHO-LASCO C3 here at Lagrange 1. And I've got to say, I don't think there are any earthly directed CMEs at the moment. There could be one popping off there in the southern hemisphere at the moment. Maybe a little bit too early to make any claims of that. Let's just let those play through. Then we're going to show you one more composite series of images. We do have a 24-hour HelioViewer movie for you, so stay tuned for that. We'll also do some meteorology here in a minute after we blast through our bonus features segment. We've put all of our features together recently here because, well, there was demand for it. And the YouTube statistics don't lie, although YouTube executives probably do. Here are the composite images from HelioViewer. There goes the SOHO-LASCO C2 NC3 with no SDO imagery there because, well, it's lacking. Again, those CMEs I do not believe are earthly directed. Lots of filaments continue to reside on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk, as you can see from the Cerro Tololo ground-based solar observatory here. All those dark regions are indeed filaments. So we've got the Kamala Harris filament down here, which is, I think it's split in two. We got the Chuck Schumer filament still intact right in the Earth-facing zone, and the AOC filament has split into three. The Eugene Bagashov filament is still hanging out here, taking its good old time, rising over the northeastern limb. Lots of filaments. Again, likelihood of coronal mass ejections remains at nearly 100%. Major filaments kicking off at the moment. So some of these you'll be able to see in the GOES 16 SUVI 304 angstroms wavelength ionized helium. Lots of filaments, large filaments. They could be headed your way with basically no warning. Next, some more imagery from GOES 16 SUVI. It's the 171 angstroms wavelength. Still the house favorite. It shows the lower corona. And again, there is an active region rising up here associated with the Eugene Bagashov filament. So here come the bonus features. We have some minor charging hazards here caused by low-energy electrons building up on the surfaces of satellites over the Central Pacific Ocean, coming at you a little later than normal today. And we've got the electron flux rising into the warning levels here. You can see both the GOES 16 and GOES 17 getting close. The GOES 16 just crossed the threshold into electron flux warning levels. And you can see NOAA was quite close with their forecast there. Not bad by NOAA. That's the forecast model for relativistic electrons. There's the 1-year graph to put it in context. We expect to see a big rise in that when that updates today. Next, we'll take a look at the F ionosphere layer, since that is where the GOES 16 and GOES 17 make their measurements. Here is your vibrational frequency of the bridge between Earth and space. The F layer of the ionosphere is located at about 300 kilometers of altitude. And there's a lot of diffuse particles up there which are vibrating. And that's what you're seeing here, megahertz, millions of vibrations per second. The frequency of the F layer of the ionosphere. If that looks all Greek to you, don't worry, we're going to show you the anomalygram as well. That'll be the anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median, depicted right here. So lots of low-frequency anomalies there over the Western Pacific. Also some showing up there east of the Drake Passage, over the African Rift Zone. Even some north polar low-frequency anomalies. Again, that's anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. Excuse me. And let's bring up the latest image. There's 1345 universal time ionogram and 1345 universal time anomalygram. We'll also show the total electron content. That's the free electrons between your GPS satellite and your handset. Your GPS satellite is located on the inner portion of the outer Van Allen belt at about 12,500 miles of altitude. And there's the total electron content map by Australian Government Bureau of Meteorology. And here's the animated imagery from the Integrated Space Weather, the Space Weather Prediction Center, rather. And we expect this to be a little bit more orderly now because we've got this increase in the electron flux. We're expecting these total electron contents to be the highest around the equator at noon and to be a little bit more organized. We tend to see these get a little bit less organized during coronal hole high-speed streams. So if you watch this throughout the day today, you should see less anomalous electron counts. For example, yesterday you see these huge electron counts over North America. Those should subside at least a little bit, as is typically the case when we see higher levels of electron flux. Next, we'll show you the latest image. There's the SDO intensitygram and the SDO magnetogram. And yowzers, those are ancient. Those are from 730. Anyway, that's what was going on several hours ago. Again, some missing data from the SDO. Let's close out the space weather section with some more GOES 16 SUVI. This is a great one. This is the thematic imagery. It shows you all kinds of different features. It'll show flares in pink. It shows the limb in light blue, quiet sun in medium blue, coronal holes in aqua, prominence in light orange, filaments in red orange, bright regions, and you get the idea. That's to last about 2.5 hours. And it's time to move to the realm of meteorology. So going from space to meteorology, here's what we're going to do first. We're going to take a look at the planet's temperature. So here are some facts for you. This is what's going on at the North Geographic Pole. That is temperature, by the way. And if you're looking for very cold temperatures, there's some. How about negative 47 degrees Fahrenheit in that portion of Siberia? Yowzers. And if you're looking for hot temperatures, we'll show some of those also. South Pole, it's a heat wave down there. It's only negative 38.4 degrees Fahrenheit down there as summer approaches for the southern hemisphere. And what's the hottest place on Earth, you ask? This looks pretty hot. How about 100 degrees Fahrenheit? Greenland looking a little on the cold side. One of the coldest places in the world. And a huge cold snap over the U.S. Rockies, for example. Anyway, that is the surface temperatures of the planet. Let's get through our meteorology segment here. We don't want the video to be too lengthy. These are the surface winds of the eastern world. Some funky winds happening in the Pacific Ocean. Check this out. Some weird wind patterns happening there. Here are the jet streams of the eastern world. Here are the jet streams of the western world. Tripled up jet stream over portions of the North American continent there. Surface winds of the western world are looking like this. Powerful low pressure here out in the North Atlantic. Surface winds of the central world are looking like this. That is your wind pattern situation for the areas of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Powerful low pressure system here right in the middle of the central Mediterranean, creating some very high wind conditions there around places like Sicily. Here are the jet streams of the central world, and let's move on to take a look at some satellite imagery. First, what about snow? You may be wondering what's going on with snow. Well, the snow extent has finally gotten below the 1 standard deviation above normal range. So here's the snow extent. You can see it's actually recently dipped here, having gone well outside of the 1 standard deviation above normal. Now it's within the plus or minus 1 standard deviation. Snow water equivalent still remains well above plus 1 standard deviation. And the snow mass balance also remains right at the 1 standard deviation above the 1982 to 2012 average. So quite a lot of snow here for the 7th consecutive winter to start things off for the 2022 to 2023 snow season. Next, looking at clouds and fog over the Americas. This is a 3.9 nanometer radiation satellite. You can see that strong low making its way out there into the North Atlantic. And continuing on, here's our weather.gov map. If your county's lit, click your county. That low is kicking up a bunch of small craft advisories. I think those are actually gale warnings. High surf advisories there around the East Coast. Let us know if you're surfing the East Coast. Tell us what kind of wetsuit you like to wear. If your county's lit or your waterway is lit, click your location on the map at weather.gov. And those pink areas in the northwest of the country, those are winter storm warnings. Let's take a look at some forecasts. But first, let's talk about today's featured product, which is Smasher Price, my first pandemic. I'm wearing it. Because I wanted a souvenir. I wanted a souvenir so that I would never forget the pathetic and infantile response of attempting to mask the planet in order to, quote, control, and quote, a virus. How did that work out? Let us know in the comments how that's been working. I guess it's going to magically start working as we're pushing 3 years of masking. How's that working in your neck of the woods? Is it preventing viral transmission? Is it causing more harm than good? Let us know in the comments. Don't worry, folks. Magical thinking. Just because it hasn't worked for thousands of years, it's going to start working now because reasons. Fauci said so, therefore it's got to work. So check out a souvenir, perhaps pick one up for your friends and foes as a Christmas present. Have you been ostracized from your family and friends? Have you been fired from your job because of some sort of COVIDiotic nonsense? Let us know in the comments about that as well. Get yourself a souvenir. Buy one for your friends and foes. And congratulations on surviving a global pandemic. So far. If you click the links below the video, you'll find our products in order of best selling. Save 20 to 60% store-wide. And our products make great gifts. Our best seller in the upper left there, it contains words that shall not be stated since it's YouTube and the pathetic censorship continues on the junkware platform. Thanks to everybody who supported us the past pushing 6 years of just putting out the most detailed space weather and comprehensive imagery of the sun you'll find anywhere in the world. Congratulations on surviving global democide so far. You, our viewers, are a gem. Press like, press subscribe, press share, tell your friends and foes about the content. Check out our playlist. We've made some changes to the playlists. If you haven't seen those for a while, youtube.com/smashamash/playlists. Check out the Diamond Anvil, Too Hard to Smash. Well, there's a video about the theory of everything in there. Also theories about condensed matter and all kinds of other interesting topics. Check out the Terms Defined playlist and more. Press like, press subscribe, press share. Here comes some forecasts. This is your temperature anomaly forecast, and we've got some high temperatures coming to Texas and then sweeping their way east. Of course, those will be pushed through by some cold temperatures as some more Canadian air makes its way down into places like Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, etc. That's a 72-hour GFS temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius. Here comes your accumulated positive snow depth change forecast for the same model and the same period of time. It's the GFS 72-hour positive snow depth change forecast in inches. Some heavy snow there coming for the central and southern Rockies. Also Washington going to see it, some pushing 2 feet of snow areas there. Some heavy snows for northern Colorado. Most of Wyoming will be blanketed. All of Colorado likely to be blanketed. And let's continue on with one more. This is the pressure and precipitation forecast based on that same model, the GFS 72-hour pressure and precipitation forecast. We show 3-day forecasts because they tend to be accurate, just like our forecasts on solar activity. Next, we've got a pressure map. And it's one of the many great features of windy.com. If you haven't installed the mobile app, perhaps check that out. Maybe install the mobile Twitch app. Twitch.tv/smashamash is where we regularly stream our live streams. We also do occasionally stream to YouTube, despite the fact that it seems to do nothing to gain us followers. Anyway, let's advance this. This is the European forecast for pressure, by the way. The European model, there's where things are expected to be at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Powerful low there approaching southern Greenland. And let's move on. It's our NASA GOES lightning mapper. We did indeed have some terrestrial strikes here, mainly around the Gulf Coast. And let's check and see if we have any current terrestrial strikes at lightningmaps.org. Next time you hear thunder, check it out. And we ain't got no terrestrial strikes. Next time you hear thunder, you get the idea. Next, looking at the U.S. Doppler radar map, and we've zoomed in on our location because we are located in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, and it looks like there is some snow mixed in there. It looks like places like, well, that's showing up as snow on the Doppler, so I don't know. It's some of that might be precipitation that's not making it all the way to the ground, where the water turns back into vapor, caused by things like temperature inversions. Anyway, here's the zoom out to the U.S. Doppler radar map. There is the all 50 states of ALSA, the allegedly United States of America. Yes, the allegedly United States of America. Remember 2020, when it became obvious that your governor can totally ruin your life? Remember that? That was fun, right? So there's a situation for the lower 48. Here is the shortwave radiation map showing clouds and fog. Here is the water vapor map. And thanks for leaving a comment, Jackie, too. What's up to you as well. So here is this low pressure. You can see this great imagery here, this low pressure here making its way to the northeast. That counterclockwise rotation. The mixture of dry and moist air there, creating a huge pressure gradient as it approaches the Great Lakes. You can expect the winds to increase there as that low gets over the water, because straight line winds are faster over the water. Water has a tendency to accelerate wind patterns. Anyway, here's your recap. The U.S. Doppler radar map, the shortwave radiation showing clouds and fog. It's the 3.9 nanometer radiation from the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellite Suite. And there is the water vapor. When your Doppler is not giving you the full picture, if you understand atmospheric physics, the water vapor should help you out. And hopefully the content helped you out with understanding facts and not promoting things like hysteria and utter nonsense on the internet. In any case, thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. From the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, and may that solar wind be at your back.